Radio Rehoboth News Time is now 8:33. I want to welcome Jane Gruenebaum, one of three new council members. Jane, first time on the radio with us here. Good morning to you.
It is. Good morning to you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you. Congratulations on making your way to the county council, swearing in last week. And boy, what a meeting you had yesterday.
Yes, we did. It was quite a wonderful start to our tenure on county council. It was only our second meeting. The first one was really ceremonial for the most part, swearing in.
Sure.
But I heard you say earlier the numbers of people were there, that there's a overflow room that was needed. And I didn't count, maybe you know the number of people who actually spoke, who actually used the 3 minutes that they were allowed to speak to us. But it was a couple hours of people offering their concerns about that moratorium idea.
Yeah, I can't remember, and even a comment was made by one of the two remaining council members that largest crowd they can remember, and definitely a very prolonged discussion of what was proposed as a possible moratorium coming up. And I guess it's a great way to get things started because you've got that public motivated now. And I think you're going to see some full rooms, more than we've seen in the past at county council.
I think so too, Jeff, and I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear. The more people get involved, the more they pay attention, the more they show up, the more they make their concerns known to us, the better job we can do because we've heard from the public. I think Matt's bold move really kind of lit a match, and that's a very positive thing to get that kind of public engagement. And I hope we can keep it. A lot of the people yesterday who came to the microphone said that they would be more than willing to work with us in trying to create some new ordinances or revised ordinances that would deal with some of these issues. So that was also very encouraging.
And Jane, that was one of the several platforms that you had as part of your campaign, and that was to slow down this overdevelopment.
Yeah, no, it's really important. And in some measure, all three of the new council members had a similar platform or a similar statement in that regard. Look, everybody, and it doesn't matter what political party you're on or how long you've been here, you just can look around you and you can see the proliferation of developments that has been allowed to develop in a sprawl-like fashion, by which I mean just without regard, particularly to the protection of our environment or our farmland. And thus has placed stress on every aspect of our infrastructure. And that's not just roads, right? That's schools, that's emergency services, that's the lack of affordable housing. So it's a lot of interconnected issues that have come up because of the way development has been allowed to proceed.
So three new council members, two Republicans, yourself a Democrat, that were elected, and in your case, the prior council person, Mark Schaefer, really defeated by a large margin, really sends, I think, a strong statement to the county council as to the change is needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The other two members who weren't up for re-election got the message, so to speak. It was, as I've over my lifespan watched elections at all kinds of levels, local up to national, it's the first election that I've witnessed that's been that clearly a message sent to the decision makers. So I think we all recognize that. We all know that. We've got that. We've had thus far, even though it's only been a few weeks, some really robust discussions about how we can move forward. But there's no question in my mind that we will be coming forth with some changes in a reasonably quick manner, right? I mean, there are things you have to do this properly, but we're working on it, and I think changes come. I know change is coming. I think it's coming reasonably quickly.
And you have spent a lot of time, even before your swearing in, between November 5th, meeting with a lot of constituents, a lot of area leaders. I know I've run into you in meetings that I've had with others. What are some of the things you're hearing, if you can share?
Well, so mostly there are people who have particular concerns that they're bringing to my attention and educating me about. So there, without going into all the detail, there's a concern about the waste management systems that Rehoboth and Sussex County are looking at in terms of sharing. There's concerns about some of the actions that's happening with some of the lakes in Rehoboth. So there are specific concerns like that. There are very individual concerns where something is happening in their development that they'd like some help with. But by and large, it's been people just wanting to get to know me, expressing their support in terms of being more than willing to work with me, telling me a little bit about them and what their background is and how they're involved. So it's really been a kind of mostly a get acquainted period. But you're right, it's been intense. It's been, full days of
Sure.
it. So but it's great. It's great. I'm getting to know the county in a much deeper way than I did before.
One of the things that you ran on was, that you were disappointed in the fact that County Council did not look at the VSA and even move forward with any discussion on that. I'm curious if you think that this new council might spend some time revisiting or even discussing that.
Well, I put it on the table. I think we do have to revisit it in some fashion. I'm hoping I can get the support for that. It's in the mix. Let me say it like that in terms of the things we're looking at and how to proceed. The form in which it will, I believe, emerge is not as the VSA. That was a state
right
policy that sunsetted actually in December. But I think in the form of more of an impact fee or something of that nature. So yes, it's in the mix. Yes, I'm very much supportive of it and will continue to push for it. So, but at this very early stage, we're still it's a matrix, if you could appreciate that, of how to move all these various pieces that we're concerned about in a quick and not just quick, but thoughtful way.
Sure. I think many people were quite surprised to hear, during the introductions last week, let's have a moratorium, a year moratorium. Definitely not a laid back approach to making change.
No, not laid back at all. As I said yesterday, we do feel a sense of urgency. We know, given the outcome of the election, that people really want to see change, and they're not fooling around. And they don't want to wait, 4 or 6 years to see these changes. They want to see them as soon as we can. It's important that people understand there's a backlog of work that's in the pipeline that is just going to go ahead because there's little that we can do about it.
Sure.
But so really looking at the changes we can make for future applications. So it's a lot of work, and there's a lot on the table, and there's a lot we want to do. But I think we all do feel that sense of urgency.
In the past, there's been a lot of blaming going on with some of the former council members as far as criticizing the state and some of the state leaders rather than taking responsibility or moving forward. And I know that's something that you discussed in your campaign, is the fact that you believe that the state and the county officials can begin to work together.
I think it's absolutely critical. And I'm hoping, and I believe actually with the new administration there and the three of us here, that we can actually change that dynamic. And nothing irks me more than people caught in a situation and point the finger at the other one. It's kind of like a marriage, like
sure.
Her fault. We all have a role to play here. And if you take the example of the roads, by putting too many cars on the roads to begin with, this is the county's part of that problem, and the state has a part of that problem too. So I think we just need to come to the table as partners, recognizing that we have a role not only in creating the problem, but more importantly in finding solutions, and work toward the solutions and stop worrying about who did what, where, when, and how, but really look at at what can we do to alleviate the problems we have now and to try and prevent those kind of problems in the future.
Well, I'm excited you're going to be joining us every other Wednesday, exception being next Wednesday. You've got a constituent coffee coming up.
I do. We have decided to hold Java with Jane every month. And if you want to come and don't know where, just send me an email to my Sussex County email, and I'll get you on our list. We have a list we send out the notice to. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if there's going to be as many people as showed up on Tuesday, but I hope we have a good turnout, because it's an important way to keep in touch with my constituents.
Most definitely. Anything you'd like to add in closing?
No, just I enjoy this discussion, and I look forward to future ones.
Very good. Well, I guess a month from today, we'll chat with you again and hope to get you on an every other Wednesday schedule at that point. Jane, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. You take care.
You too, Jeff. Thank you.